Could we turn to George? Could you share about letters to a young prosecutor, guidance on ethics?
Sure. Thanks, Evelina, again, for pulling us all together. And many thanks to my fellow panelists for their brilliant and provocative books. My book is a lot less ambitious. It's only incidentally a work of scholarship. Instead, my aim was to write the guide I wish I had when I was a rookie prosecutor, 28 years old, and making everyday decisions that touched people's lives. I faced enormous pressures, we all did, caseload pressure, time pressure, constant judicial demands, defense assaults, and the intransigence of police witnesses supposed to be on our side. There was the constant fear I might prosecute an innocent person or fail to protect a victim from further violence. And then there was the subtle pressure, insistent, sometimes unspoken, to take a harder law and order stance than I thought right. I knew the rules of ethics and I resolved to follow them to the letter. But there were times I regret today, when the pressure to push past ethical limits was greater than I knew how to resist. So the burden of this book is to teach young prosecutors how to hold firm in the face of such pressure. And I attack this problem in several ways. First, I stress the pain of regret, of looking back at yourself years or decades from now and realizing you caved to pressure and did the wrong thing. I tell young readers of the times I caved, times I regret today. I tell them of times I did the right thing, but paid a strategic price for doing so. And I tell them of times I made hard decisions in fraught circumstances and still today don't know if I did the right thing. I try to help young prosecutors conceptualize what it means to seek justice, the overarching ethical burden of every prosecutor. Seeking justice has many components: exalting truth, fighting bias, remaining humane, preferring lenity in charging and sentencing, following rules, whether constitutional or statutory or rooted in ethics codes, and most of all, standing firm in the face of pressure to cut ethical corners. I try to teach young prosecutors the simple power of no. Sometimes one's superiors will yield to a thoughtful and insistent explanation of the ethical principles that demand a course other than the one superiors favor. And I explain the importance of keeping a financial reserve so that if one's superiors prove unyielding and demanding unethical actions, you can walk away. A large chunk of the book sets out ethical principles imposed by law. This part of the book doubles as a criminal procedure primer, as almost every step of the criminal process presents ethical challenges for prosecutors. I also offer my own views on the many ethical questions that fall between firm rules when the only guiding principle is the prosecutor's duty to seek justice. And the book has one final mission. I do my best to persuade good young persons to become prosecutors. I point out how much more good they can do acting with power inside the system than throwing stones from without. And I confront the arguments of those who argue good persons should not be prosecutors. Those arguments rest on the premise that however good-hearted young prosecutors might be, and however committed to doing justice, the system will break them and they will become complicit in the system's injustices. Instead, I insist if a young prosecutor resolves to stand firm under pressure and pursue justice resolutely, that prosecutor can help bend the moral arc of the entire criminal system, however slowly, toward justice.
Thank you very much for that.